Hello everyone, my name is Ren. I have been struggling with mental health issues ever since I was a teenager, and I've been working through these issues with a psychotherapist for about 4 years now. In this channel, I share my personal experience and skills to help you tackle issues like fear of abandonment, social anxiety, people-pleasing, so that you could create and enjoy healthy relationships. If it is something that you're interested in, please subscribe so that you don't miss any videos. So in this video, I would like to talk about 4 triggers of social anxiety, because most of us were not conscious about what triggers us into the sudden state of being scared, being angry, or just cause us to blank out. So we blame ourselves for acting like a weirdo, and I've done that for many years myself. Through my own healing journeys, I've learned that discovering my triggers can be of great relief, because now I know that social anxiety symptoms do not reflect my inadequacy. It only reflects some uncomfortable sensations and irrational thoughts. So let's jump right into this video. The number 1 trigger is self-expression. Any level of self-expression can trigger our great social anxiety. Talking about ourselves, expressing our emotions, texting, social media posting, interviews, or speaking up in meetings or public speaking. The triggers can be very personal. For example, for me, a really big one was like doing makeup and dressing up and going out, because I sense there's a greater possibility of me being noticed by people. And another one for me was making videos, for example, like sitting here talking to you. When I first started this channel, I was so scared. I would put hours into doing makeup, finding the perfect camera angle just so that I could look like perfect, but even though like nobody is gonna be perfect, right? But it can be quite triggering for me, because I think I'm showing who I am. I'm showing the authentic self to people that I don't know of, and that is quite scary. The reason behind that is that we learned to associate danger with being seen. So we feel like being seen would expose ourselves, would cause us to be disliked, to be disgusted, to be contempted, and to be excluded by people, and that reflects a core wound of shame, of us feeling not good enough. Underneath this, we have this embedded limiting belief that people are dangerous, they're judging me, they would never accept me for who I am, I have to be perfect to be loved, I'm gonna make a fool out of myself, and so on and so forth. So when we have those limiting beliefs, it just exacerbates our anxiety, and it causes us to be more embarrassed about ourselves. I'm actually creating a series of videos on how to overcome those core beliefs, those limiting beliefs that drive us, this uncontrollable anxiety. I'm gonna put the link up here, and if you're interested, you can check it out later. The second trigger is social occasions and interactions. Because social anxiety is related to our core wound of shame of not being good enough, so it is especially triggering to meet people, to encounter people that are attractive, that are confident, that are successful, especially those aggressive people who seem to have like a lot of ambition, because it triggers our fear of being compared negatively to those people, because we think we can never compete with those people, and it just exacerbates our feeling of inadequacy. A big part of our social anxiety is the fear of being seen. So if we're in public places, then it can be a disaster. For example, like restaurants, cinemas, classrooms, gyms, dining halls, public bathrooms, or any kind of public transportation. Another big one is being observed by people while doing things. For example, for me, a really big one was running outside, because I feel like I'm gonna be judged by all those pedestrians, because they're gonna see how ugly I am when I work out, right? So I choose to go to the gym. I choose to use the treadmills. But before I go to the gym, I usually will spend hours putting on makeup, because I don't wanna, embarrass myself with that ugly face after working out. And not to mention when we have to initiate conversations, when we have to speak up in public, when we have to do some mingling and networking stuff, that is especially scary. The third trigger is performance. For example, being interviewed, performance on stage, or even sexual activities. Sexual activities can be a really big one, because it's mixed up with body image anxiety, and this is not uncommon at all for women, especially because we're constantly worried about how we look during sex, well, what if I have muffin tops? What if I'm not sexy enough? What if my face is ugly? And for men, it can be like performance anxiety during sex, right? Like they're constantly worried about what if they're not being masculine enough? What if they don't perform well enough to the standards? Taking tests in public. I remember when I was taking my SAT in a giant classroom. Most of the time, I was spending time looking around because I think people are judging me. The trigger of performance is actively related to being judged and being assessed over time, right? So we all have it. Like anybody, when they feel like they're being judged, when they feel like they're being watched, they're gonna be nervous and they're gonna be worried. But for people with social anxiety, because we're hyper-vigilant about what could go wrong, so usually we would predict these bad and catastrophic consequences of this test, of this performance. And this kind of anxiety could last like long after the event is over, because we kept replaying it over and over again, trying to find out like, did I say that wrong? Like, was I good enough? Whoa, I should have done that. And we would have more self-blame and we would have more self-judgment rather than the actual judgment by people. The last trigger is anxiety symptoms themselves. I don't know if you've noticed that we get worse when we find out that we are being triggered of this social anxiety symptoms. For example, our palm sweats, like our voice trembles, we have blushes, our palm sweats, and our heartbeats just jumps like really fast, right? When we notice all those symptoms, and we just feel like there's a spiral going up because we're like, we don't know how to control ourselves, and we do our best to conceal the fact that we're triggered. We don't want to be found out by people that we are acting weird, driving by the wish to be perfect, to be loved, and to be accepted. That is almost like, no, you're never going to be loved by people because see what you're doing, like you're nervous in social occasions. That is so unattractive. You're behaving like weirdo, you're embarrassing yourself. And we say those mean things to ourselves. So combined with those anxiety symptoms, with those irrational thoughts, with our emotions of being scared, of being embarrassed and stuff, we just basically cannot contain it anymore. And we decide, well, maybe I'm not suitable for social occasions. Maybe I cannot do this. You know, I might end up alone. I might not be able to have any real friends or people that actually accept me. I hope this video helps you realize that it's not your fault. It's not that you have issues. It's just you have some thoughts and you have programmed body reactions to those thoughts. And all of this combined pushes you to act in this way. It's not a reflect of your inadequacy. It does not literally mean that you're bad. No, that's not true. I just hope you remember this, and I hope this video helps relieve some of your burden of being shamed. Alright everyone, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.